Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Good Vibes. I'm Martin Falls, joined by Debbie Cox DeNova, and we have another topic for you today. Everybody at home needs to listen to this topic because it's a good one today.
It's a great one.
Having more fun.
Yes.
Who doesn't want to have more fun?
Who doesn't want to have more fun? And hopefully by the end of this conversation, some people at home are going to recognize that not only do they want to have more fun, but they might need to have more fun. We go through this conditioning process starting around school time where we start to believe that we have to squeeze the fun out of the time when we're doing productive things like work, schoolwork. And by the time we become a full-blown adult, some people have lost the ability to actually tap into true fun. Some of the things that we call fun are not actually fun, right? So scrolling on social media, for example, studies have actually shown that actually drains the energy out of you and actually makes you feel worse about yourself. And yet some people will do that for fun, right? Or they'll say, wow, that was a lot of fun, when it really was at the end of the day not fun at all. So hopefully today we can help define what fun actually is, look at the ingredients of fun, and then give the people at home some strategies that they can apply in their own lives to bring the fun up and some reasons why they definitely should.
You know, I was thinking about that when I was just starting HTV or just making the movie. I didn't have any money.
Yeah.
So fun was automatic. Go to work, do this, go play basketball with your friends, go do different things, go have a cocktail or two. As you accumulate things and you have to keep it up, it sucks the time that you have to go have fun sometimes. So I think everybody, as they get older, they reevaluate. They go, man, I'm tired of working my life away. I'm ready to go have some more fun.
If you're lucky, you do at some point in time recognize that simplifying your life is actually the thing if you want to make sure that you have the actual experience that you came for, which is an enjoyable one, right? And this information comes from science journalist Catherine Price. And she recognized that not only is fun something that is enjoyable to us, but it actually is it's self-care and it's a health intervention. So when we're having fun and we're talking about true actual fun, right? What happens is that the good hormones in our body come up, the health supporting hormones. So not cortisol. That's the opposite, right? Yeah. Endorphins, oxytocin comes up. Oxytocin helps us to bond with other people. These are stress management, helpful for stress management in our lives, okay? And they help us be more relaxed and more connected with people. On the opposite end of it, helps decrease the stress hormones like cortisol in our body so that, again, the cortisol is connected to bone loss. It's connected to all sorts of health disorders. And stress in general, right? So when we have the ability to incorporate fun into our lives on a regular basis, then we are actually helping ourselves to stay mentally healthy and also healthy on a physical level as well. All right. So there are 3 ingredients to fun. All right. And at home, you may want to write this down because this is going to be helpful to go back to when you're kind of evaluating what you need to be spending your time on. The first one is playfulness. When we talk about playfulness, we're not just talking about actually games. We're not talking about necessarily make-believe, right? As adults, that may not even be fun for you. One of the things that Catherine Price says is that when you see someone actually talking about times of their life where they're fun, there's an actual radiance that happens. There's this glow that comes up, this energy that sort of, it's contagious. You can see it all. It kind of brightens up the face. So when you have an experience that's actually enjoyable to you, it provides that feeling of levity and playfulness within yourself. So it can be sometimes by yourself, but most of the research shows that when someone's talking about their peak moments of fun and playfulness in their life, it involves other people. So that is the second thing, connection. Connecting with other people, incorporating things in your life that have you bond with other humans, because we know that there's a loneliness epidemic, part of it being the cause of the phone, right? And computers and just our connection through technology. So connecting with other people. And then the third one is flow. And we've talked about flow state before. It's that feeling of going into a zone, right? You're losing all concept of time. The thing is that you can be in flow and not be actually having fun. For example, you can be in an argument and actually lose track of time and be in the flow of it, but that's not actually fun. But you cannot have fun without being in flow. Flow takes you to a place of presence. You have to be present in order to have fun. And so when you have this, not only are you getting these health benefits mentally and emotionally, you have a lower incidence of depression, a lower incidence of mental and physical health disorders, but you are actually more creative. There was a study that was done at University of North Dakota where they took a couple of hundred students and they separated them into 2 rooms. And they said, okay, we're going to give you some tests and we're going to measure your creative output. In the one group, they were just told to do the test and they measured the output. In the other, they actually told them, pretend like you're a 7-year-old while you're doing this. And so they measured creative outputs in both groups, and they found that the group that pretended to be a 7-year-old actually were 30% more creative than the group that didn't do that. And the reason is because if you're a child, and we know this quite naturally as children, you take away the pressure of perfectionism. You're bold and you're out there just sort of exploring, right? That is part of a part of childhood that we often mistakenly think we're supposed to outgrow, but we're actually supposed to add our maturity in with that playfulness. It can help us to be more creative. It can help us to be more productive, more connected to people. It basically benefits all the way around.
I'm in the 60s now. You start reminiscing a little bit.
Yeah.
And you get friends that get sick, some of them very sick.
Yeah.
And so the other day, I was trying to understand why I love to build things. So I was trying to put a thumb on it. And I remember as a kid always building tree houses.
Oh.
And the joy I got from building tree houses.
Yes.
So and it's not so much the joy of building. Well, it's not the joy of seeing the final product. It's the joy of building.
Yeah.
So I sort of related those two.
Yeah.
Other than I'm driving on my 6-wheeler. And as a kid, Dad used to build us little go-karts. We'd pull them on the bike with a rope. So I was thinking to myself the other day while I'm riding the 6-wheeler, now with a motor because I'm too old to pull it with a bike. Or I don't want to be seen pulling it with a bike. It's funny how you relate everything to playfulness in your childhood.
Yeah, that's a good point. And actually, one of the pieces of advice was to, if you're with your partner and you're trying to figure out what could be fun, a great question to ask would be, what does fun mean to you? And they'll say something, and then you ask them why. And then you ask them why again. And then by the third why, they're usually connecting what they enjoy today to something that happened in their childhood. So when we're children, we haven't yet been programmed with the duties that we need to do. Like, it's literally just about finding the thing that lights you up the most, that brings you that natural radiance, that flow, that connection, that playfulness. And so our child self knows exactly how to get to fun. And this is a great way, if you want to track yourself back to fun now, following children is a great way to do it, right? They'll show you exactly. They don't care. They'll go get muddy. They're going to stomp in the puddle just for the fun of it. They're not going to think about all of the things about cleaning it up. They're doing it for the sake of doing it. And this is really, really important to bring into your adult life for all the reasons that we talked about. It's just a healthy, productive, creative way of living, okay? So the number one thing that you want to do if you're bringing more fun into your life is to eliminate distractions. Remember that one of the ingredients of playfulness and fun is being in the flow, right? So anything that distracts you will actually kick you out of flow. And can you guess what the number one distraction?
Leave your cell phone away from what you're doing.
That's exactly right. So the number one distraction for most people is the cell phone. And actually, Catherine Price wrote a book called Breaking Up with Your Cell Phone, if somebody wants to pick that up. But the point of it is that when you have that cell phone, you're connected to the entire World Wide Web, right? So you can literally distract yourself in so many ways. And what people are calling fun is actually themselves numbing themselves out from a life where they're exhausting themselves through work or responsibilities or whatnot. So eliminate the distractions. And another reason to put down the phone, and she challenges people just to put down the phone as much as possible, is so that you can connect to people in real life. So that's the second thing, is you want to find ways to connect with human beings in real life. And she says that, I know then realize that people sometimes are distracting themselves with their phone for the very purpose of not connecting with people in real life. But this is something we actually need as human beings. And the studies bear it out, even if you're an introvert, the peak moments of fun that we look back on have to do with connecting with other people.
My dad used to come to my house all the time, do his garden and everything.
Right.
I heard my sisters one day saying, Daddy, you need a cell phone. I mean, how are we going to reach you if something goes wrong? Now, my daddy was approaching 90 at that point. He said, y'all are assuming that I want y'all to reach me. He never had a cell phone growing up. He didn't want one later in life.
Yeah, he knows.
And he had a good time.
He knew exactly what we're talking about right now intuitively, right? And the older generation typically does. It's those of us who have sort of been, and I'm kind of halfway in and halfway out. I remember a time where cell phones were not a thing, but the generation coming up now, it's all they know is that
Can I say,
distraction.
I hate them.
Right.
I hate cell phones, although I have one and I use them like everybody else. But if we all had to go throw it in the bayou at the same time, I'd be the first one.
Yeah, there's a definite dark side when it comes to, ironically, with being disconnected with people, because it connects us, but yet it disconnects us from that human connection that we actually need. The third thing is to be just responsibly disconnect from adult. What did she say? She says disconnect from or break the rules of adulthood. So, and this is responsibly, right? So an example that she uses from one of her people is that she and her friends took off from work one morning and took off from their responsibilities of mothering. They brought flasks with them to a 10:30 a.m. showing of Bad Moms. Okay, so this was their way of sort of bringing playful deviance into their life and remembering that life is about like just actually having some fun and levity and breaking the rules just a little bit responsibly.
Right.
And then the final thing is to prioritize it. And that sounds like, oh, well, we know that already, right? But the problem is that we really don't. A lot of us have it like play is frivolous or fun is frivolous and it's for children or it's for the weekends. And really it's something that we desperately need as a culture. So put it on your calendar. But she says, don't just put from 4 to 6 on this day, I'm going to have fun, because that is the best way not to have fun. You want to identify the things that lit you up as a child and the things now that constitute fun for you. If you're somebody who uses your mind a lot at work, you may want to use your hands for fun. If you use your hands a lot for work, you may want to use your mind like Sudoku, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
and
well said.
Put it on the calendar.
Yeah, and I'm very spontaneous too, so I'm very structured. I have to do shows at this time. When I get off, I don't want a clock.
This is why the Bobcat was such an important thing, right?
It is. Great show. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. All right,
Nice.
Debbie. Thank you. All right, we'll see you again next week. Another important topic. Work on that, having more fun. We all need to have a little more fun. That's a very, very good topic today. So let's see if we can follow it a little bit. We'll see you next week.